I know states. My favorite would be. I can list a few of them.
Go on.
Got Iowa, Ohio,
Is that it?
LA. Is that a good
one? You got it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Working Hour. The place to talk all things creative and help you grow as a creator and maybe a person? Who knows? I'm Distorticon, joined today by my flamboyant and lost co-host, VanguardAir.
Hi, everyone.
Boy, that's such a horrible look for you. Fucking LA. I mean, god damn.
Like Washington as well. And in New York city.
Can you name like one state that isn't like the top 5?
Yeah. Of course I can. Kansas.
What do you think goes on in Kansas?
It's in like the top 6. I don't know.
We're like bottom 6. You got it, man.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know that, bro.
A lot of farming there, and
I thought farming was in Iowa, or is that corn farming? Iowa's the cornfields type thing, right?
A lot of states are cornfields.
Bruh, pick a personality. Oh my goodness.
God forbid the Midwest is all known for the same thing because of its climate. Oh. Oh, the audacity of these people to not be original. You know what else isn't original? Fucking YouTube.
YouTube. That's a perfect segue.
Yes, it sure is. Oh my god. You know what? I'm just gonna come out swinging.
All right.
We need a YouTube renaissance, and we need one really fucking badly.
Okay. And what would that entail?
A lot of things. We need a great drive, a different way of thinking, enough smooth, saturated, pogging faces and thumbnails. I think that would be a good start. And some big impact font text that says, "I just killed someone. Here's some money. Don't tell anyone." You think that's a good thumbnail? Because everyone else seems to think that.
Yeah, I mean, gonna be honest, I would click that.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd click it just because I've got a really bad attention span that I'm trying to work on, but I would fall immediately back into it.
You would fall. So your response to fixing your attention span is to click on a MrBeast video of him admitting to murder and then paying off and like hush money to people. You would watch that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As long as there's no like ads, because the second there's an ad, I close YouTube and open TikTok.
Oh right, that's the deal breaker. Ads.
Yeah, that's the deal breaker.
God forbid. This video, I murdered 6 people live on television. You get what you fucking deserve.
and then an ad pops up and I'm gone. I'm not there anymore. That's the only thing.
Damn it! I wonder what he was gonna do to those people in the audience.
No, but it's like you told us.
I think we really do need a renaissance. I think shit's hit the fan and it's been stuck to the fan for way too long. Oh god. You know, but before we really dive into this, if you'd like to with me, go ahead and open an incognito window and go to YouTube and let's read off some of the gorgeous things that we get to see.
Right. I'm here. I'm on YouTube's homepage.
What do you see? What are your eyes being drawn to?
I don't think I should say it.
There's no way it's that bad.
I'm getting a lot of mixed signals on my homepage, man. I think you should start off with yours.
I'm seeing NBC News. I'm seeing Russians are stunned. Oh, exposing OceanGate submarines' many fatal designs. I'm seeing, oh my god, a lot of things about that Titanic sub. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How long until I get a MrBeast video? There it is. $1 versus, what is that? $1 billion yacht.
Oh shit.
131 million views. Unbelievable. And you know what you got to do? You got to paint a fucking yacht gold in Photoshop, and it's easy money, I guess. Yeah, so let's let's really digest the idea of a renaissance. What do you think a YouTube renaissance could even, look like? Because the exercise we just did there, I think proves our point. Even though we just cherry picked Mr. Beast, which I mean that's like low hanging fruit, but it's like too good of an example. You almost have to mention it. Shit's brutal. Everywhere you look, it's the same shit. Shit we've seen and heard too much of, continuously done more and more by people we've seen too much and heard too much from. Let's just put it this way. Imagine like the one scene from Clockwork Orange where like your eyes are being held the fuck open and you're just forced to watch like YouTube garbage all day. Like, I don't think any human could survive like the modern day YouTube trending page. Watch every video there back to back. Like, shit, that's a Mr. Beast video right there. First person to survive modern internet torture gets $1 million.
Gets $1 million.
Thumbnails.
Not like,
No, I'm sorry. Now I pictured like a thumbnail of like Carl's eyes being held open.
Dude, I click on that so fast. You have
Carl
no idea.
Jacobs, it's like, and then they Photoshop fake tears like he does on like the curing blindness one. It's just fake tears on his fucking face.
Fuck. I almost choked on my gamer subs. Not sponsored.
Oh, wow. Already fucking mooching for sponsors. First episode. You know what? I'm not even mad. I'm proud. That's fucking slick.
Thank you. Thank you.
In other news, Elgato, please.
In other news, Lord Connect 6. I would like another one of those items.
Our arms are wide open. Come on home.
Right, it's not a good look with us, screaming for sponsors.
Money, blah 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 blah.
Money,
add, money.
No, like, I don't know. I think it's, I do think, the YouTube renaissance, as you said, would be good. In my opinion, obviously, I think some elements have to kind of stay, if we are going to do it like that. And I feel, I don't know, because a lot of them I've kind of changed how YouTube runs. And I think, yeah, like, eye-catching thumbnails, it's hard to get rid of because even if we, let's say everyone gets rid of them and, there's no more thumbnail artists or anything like that are making money off of it, and it's just plain thumbnails, people are going to still start making thumbnails again that are appealing.
Yeah, it'll almost like reinvent itself inevitably.
No, yeah, because no one has, eye-catching thumbnails. It means everyone's going to have the same thumbnails, which means people are going to think to themselves, let's make eye-catching thumbnails. It's going to happen again and again and again.
I'm not calling for like a Thanos snap of YouTube, although that would be interesting. I wonder what that would look like.
That'd be interesting, but yeah, and I think that's why, yeah, some elements will obviously stay and they have to stay, but having a new spin on things would be a really nice idea to have. I'd like to see how people take things and change them.
It's such a needed one because everywhere you look and every niche, it kind of feels the same no matter where you go. And I think that's my issue with it, is that like everything is carrying over to everywhere. Like you can't, I can't get the idea of like your average thumbnail nowadays to like a really viral either money or challenge themed video of just like person's face, super, ridiculous, borderline uncanny expression, smoothed to death, for some reason. I don't know why that looks horrible to me. It looks horrifying, but we do that now. And then everything's super saturated, and it's, look at this red ring with this bare foot and grass. You want to know what this guy's doing? Making money.
But that's the thing. It is very attention grabbing, and yes, it is terrible for your brain and eyes to like constantly consume that, but it works really well.
And that's the thing, is that I'm not arguing that it works or it doesn't, because I mean, you could say fortunately or unfortunately it does, but
I think we need to slow down on it almost. Dial it back a little bit.
We gotta slow down and dial back. We gotta, like, dog. Oh God, everywhere you look, and it, you have a term that I originally like kind of thought of myself, but apparently people are using this. People call it the MrBeastification of YouTube. Like, what is one? Imagine saying that to a pilgrim in the 1600s, and they're gonna just look at you dumbfounded. Like, what?
That's right. Yeah.
I don't want to put blame on the guy because how much of it is really his fault? He just kind of. I mean, when was the last time we've seen someone grow like him? You know, like, cause he wasn't even always doing the shit he was doing now. You know, like 5, 6 years ago, he was fucking sitting in his bedroom counting, and now he's this global sensation with all these brands and chains, and he's grown to be more than just a YouTuber. In a way, he's been good for the platform. It's, you know, proof that shit isn't you know, luck based. You just, I mean, he talks about it all the time in how he got there and his philosophy. And then I feel like people trying to shortcut their way to the top and skip steps just blindly followed what he said. And so they become him and do exactly what he did, when we don't need another Mr. Beast. We don't need that at all. Maybe not at all, but that spot is taken, and it's only going to grow bigger, and I don't need to have more videos of smooth faces and giant yachts on my homepage.
I agree, because Mr. Beast's stuff is like really, really good. I can't deny that. It is so like I click on it, dude,
whether it's for you or not, you can't deny the man's figured it out.
Yeah, he's figured it. He knows how to keep an audience from start to finish, dude. His like 15 to 20 minute long videos, or like his longer videos, they, for me, if I ever like stumble upon them or watch them, they don't feel that long because they're constantly engaging. And I think that's a great idea, but the style and everything of it is very Mr. Beast, and you can tell when, you know, other people use that style. And like, you know, I'm saying, like, obviously inspiration is fine. I straight up just, you know, every single gaming YouTuber with like subtitles is pretty much the exact same with different personalities behind it. And I think, you know, the editing behind it's fine, but the fact that it's just the same, almost identical content, there's like, it's the same premise.
And that's another thing with it too, is that another reason it feels so stale is because everyone's doing the same things and there's no twist, and the videos are barely about them.
Yeah.
What they've taken is this kind of established formula and they just do it. They don't do it with them and they make it about them, or they don't do it with a twist. It's just, oh, he did that. He stood in a circle for 3 days and won a car. Oh, I'll do that with my friends, but then you don't make it. So like the main point is like, why watch this person or this person when they're the same?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you said to me before you're not on TikTok, so I don't know why I keep asking that question every 2 days. Yeah, there's this one guy on TikTok, and he does the same style of Mr. Beast content, right? But it's not like over edited. He would just go up to random people, and it would be like $1 or mystery gift, and then there's like, they're always 90% of the time they're like, oh, mystery gift. And he will stare into the camera. He does not look at the person. He will just constantly stare into the camera, give it to them, and then they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, oh, do you want me to open it? And he's just like, he just keeps staring into the camera, and the person's like, oh, okay. And then they open it. And they're like, oh, wow, it's like a laptop or headphones or, you know, can of deodorant or whatever they get in the gift, right? And they're like, oh, thank you. Is it mine? And he just stares into the camera. And then he'll wait, and the other person will be like super awkward and just stare back into the camera. And then he'll just randomly at the end, he'll say what the item is. He'll be like, Sony headphones. And like, he'll just say something, and it's so funny. But then like, even I think he's collabed with Mr. Beast.
Really?
And yeah, he's like, after a while, he stopped giving away like laptops and shit. And he was just like, he'd say what the item is, and he'd be like, Mr. Beast, please collab with me. I'm running out of money.
Oh my God.
He had his own spin on it, to the point where even though it was the same content, his personality shined through.
Yeah,
it,
so that's
right?
interesting because you said it's his personality was different, but the way you described it, it's almost like there was no personality, but that is the personality.
Yeah, the personality is the fact that it's so
Yeah,
dead.
being so
like-
dead and empty that it serves as this unique personality because no one would ever think to be like, let's do this exciting thing and then not give any fucks about it.
Yeah, like he does it so well, and I think if it's in my opinion, if it's word for word, or in the start, which is usually in the start, it's like this is what's happening, this is how it's going to happen, and then it goes into this is how it's starting, this is the big middle ground, and this is the end. It feels very formulaic, right? And I think even adding small things to it is, in my opinion, enough to change it where it's not terrible. But yeah, I think if it's word for word, action for action, cut for cut, well, quite a few people have that. I think it's hard to enjoy it if you already have because if you want to watch Mr. Beast, you'll watch Mr. Beast. If you want to watch that guy on TikTok that I was saying, even though it's the exact same style, it's different still. And it could literally be the smallest thing as a different challenge or a different form of editing, or even small changes for me is enough to change it where it isn't disgusting.
Disgusting. What a fucking adjective.
I think because I expressed, right, where I draw the line in it being identical type thing. So like even for me, small changes is enough to, be good. I think a tiny change is really, really good. Because it's still adding to something that's been created, and I'm happy with that. But what are you happy with? What do you see is too much?
I think for me, the presentation and the packaging, the title and thumbnail, that for me I think is something I have more of an issue with than the video itself, because that's the first thing you will always see when you go on YouTube is that, that combo. It is, I mean, literally copy and pasted. And the only thing that's different is, the subject. What was the goal of the video? Standing in a circle, fucking last person to leave Antarctica doesn't die, but eventually will. And then they're fucking wide-eyed, huge mouth, fucking money reaction. And it's that for me, I almost said it makes me sick. That is not how I feel. Jesus, I was getting ahead of myself.
I mean, I said something was horrible before, so I mean, but no, like exactly, like, because in the grand scheme of things, right? I did a small little study at uni and everything, and it was talking about when is an idea really original, or when is something truly your own. And they were mainly talking about copyright and everything like that. But when is an idea truly your own? The main premise is when something's been changed enough to the point where it's feels different. It's hard to be original when everything has been done. Call Me Carson or JC the Caster or all like Diffie and all these other people are doing Discord content, which is the same thing I'm doing. And really the only thing different is the personality at hand, maybe the editing, and that's it. But people will still say, I think I've gotten a comment that said Isaac Y copy. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, okay, well, I understand that because it is Discord, it's friends talking in Discord, they are pretty much the same video in the grand scheme of the everything. They're pretty much the same style of video. Completely fine. It's hard to have an original idea, especially if you want to make Mr. Beast styled stuff. No matter what you make, even with small additions or subtractions, it will still feel like that type of video.
It's a difficult mold to break out of.
Yeah, it really is. And because they work so well, I feel like, yeah, YouTube Renaissance is needed, but it's going to take a lot of work.
To roll back a little bit on your, when is an idea original thing, it's the same way with inspiration, is that, the way you're doing something now is just kind of a pool of stuff you've seen before and you thought, "Huh, that's cool. Like I like that." So then it becomes
Yeah.
just this huge kind of melting pot of, all sorts of things, big or small, that you've seen that you like and would like to do something similar to. If I could pinpoint my, you know, my melting pot of people and inspirations, at least focusing just on not of people or just like motivation or being an artist or creative or whatever, like sticking just to YouTube, I think
Yeah.
my big three would be Schlatt, Jay Schlatt, earlier Jay Schlatt. I'm admittedly not very up to date on him because I don't really care for TikTok reaction videos. There, I said it. Oh, sue me, sue me.
Oh.
I said it. No one else will.
No one else. Okay, all right. I see that.
So Schlatt, Germa, duh. If you know me at all,
Obviously,
you can you know that and you can kind of see it. And then Smitty. I think I would put them
Yeah.
Germa, Schlatt, Smitty in that order. And those are my that's my three-headed monster of inspiration.
Yeah, and like that's in my point of view, watching some of your stuff, it is in my eyes enough to see that it's a different channel. It is not just a carbon copy. And I believe that's a healthy and great use of, or a great example of something that is new from ideas that aren't new. Because you have changed like how you do things from compared to them. You don't sit there and stream and then go like Jomo, you don't say anything he does.
No, you can't. You did not just rope that into this, dude. You did not just the fact that for those unaware, I don't do it publicly. With friends, I kind of started this thing back in like January of this year where I just kind of just randomly just go like I just make a noise similar to that when like I don't know what to say. It's like just a way to fill the air, and I do it a lot, and now I have plenty of friends that do it too.
Yeah, like it's beautiful, but like
it is beautiful.
It really is. But yeah, you don't copy Jarmo's personality. You don't copy Smitty's editing. You don't copy Jay Schlatt's
capitalism tendencies and
yeah,
violent
sure.
outbursts.
That's a good example. But like it's enough to, in my eyes, say it's still different. And we're going back to Mr. Beast. But like
Mr. Beast.
Going back to that, it is very like it's hard to break away because there's so much in it, right? That makes a Mr. Beast video a Mr. Beast video. You could take out almost anything and it could feel different. It's so unique, but there are still so many people that you watch and you're like, oh, it feels like a Mr. Beast video, but like I don't know, it feels odd. Because it's done in such a specific way. I just got a message from someone. It's done in such a specific way that it is, formulaic, but like, obviously, yeah, he's talked about like, oh, do this and this and this, and it gets a lot of views and this and this. People will do it, and it will feel like a Mr. Beast video.
It's a difficult one to unravel because there's a lot of different perspectives you can have on it. You can just say, you can pinpoint to a certain point and be like, well, this is where I think where things started to go wrong, and you can, I mean, to me, at first I was just kind of thinking about how we got here, and it was just started, a couple of years ago, and Mr. Beast started to get really big. But the more I thought about it, it was like, I think it goes back even further. Like, forget the copycat culture and the very formulaic shit where all thumbnails and titles and videos and intros are the same. I think the first kind of wave of people needing to do things differently, not wanting to because it was trendy, but needing to out of necessity was, I mean, when was the last time you heard the word adpocalypse?
like
That's an ancient
years ago,
relic,
yeah.
man. But the more I thought
Yeah,
about it, that was kind of the beginning of shit going wrong, because people had to change and had to adapt. And that was technically, weren't there multiple adpocalypses? I think there were. I think there was at least 3.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was the second one, maybe one of them. I don't fucking know. Where they ended up adding the 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 watch hours monetization thing, because I think up to that point, regardless of your size, you could be monetized. Doesn't mean that you would, but I think you could have like applied at any point to get ads in your videos, if I remember correctly. I don't know. That was maybe what, like 2017, 2018. I would have been 12, 13. I don't remember that shit.
Bro, I was an emo back then. Like, I had long hair and put it over one eye.
No, are you serious?
Like, I'm serious. But
okay,
like,
sorry, confessions time. You serious?
Yes, that's not what we're talking about, though.
God, I can't picture you like that. Nor can I picture you at all, because I don't know what you look like.
I genuinely, I used to listen to like My Chemical Romance and everything. Dude. I was all in.
Okay, now I really want to move on already.
What I'm trying to say is that it was a long time ago, and things have changed.
Big time, maybe too much.
Big time. But like, yeah, dude, it's odd. Because yeah, the adpocalypse, or the idea of it, it's such a weird term, is like, yeah, it really was so long ago, but it made a huge impact and pushed people in a specific direction.
You had to comply in a way if you wanted to keep going, because YouTube is obviously massive. It's like the second most visited site in the world, I think. Think about back then. I mean, we're talking 6-7 years ago now in YouTube. It was big, but it wasn't what we know it as today. Today it's a total titan in, the internet as a whole. But back then it was just a big site where you could kind of upload whatever. It kind of functioned as the Wild West prior to all the adpocalypse panic, because
it was a lot of everything, man.
That was when YouTube kind of had to get their shit together. They had to clean up their act and go, oh shit, advertisers are leaving our platform. What do? We have to actually do our jobs and enforce things. Like,
yeah,
obviously they're not going to be perfect. This shit's beyond massive. It's so difficult. I mean, I don't even know what the metric is these days of the amount of hours of content that is uploaded every minute. Like, it's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it's tens of millions. Like, more than that, maybe. It's so massive. I can't even try and imagine the amount of YouTube videos that are out there. It has to be trillions, right? Maybe.
Maybe there's just there was a stat that I heard like years ago that was like, I can't remember like how many hundreds or thousands of hours of like footage was uploaded. I think it was every hour or something to YouTube. Like, every hour there's just a massive amount.
It's a vast place that had to be it had to settle down a little bit. And that's, I mean, I don't know how much I would agree with this, but you could argue that YouTube, despite its many flaws, kind of needed something like that to happen, because it could have gone down a dangerous path. It would only get bigger, and it's too much to keep up with. And if that kind of shit wasn't in place today, this place would be kind of dangerous, because, people would find ways to game all sorts of shit. It would have been a mess. So it does feel like nothing has been quite the same since around 2017. I think that was the first year you can noticeably kind of see it change, their direction and how they wanted to be seen. And now everyone wants to be a YouTuber. Everyone tries their hand at it for a little bit. Imagine like this shit that you get asked in school when you're in like elementary school. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're asking like a bunch of 8-year-olds that, like, like 10, 20 years ago, they're saying teacher, astronaut, whatever, like entrepreneur. And now it's YouTuber, vlogger, content creator. Like, streamer.
Yeah. And it's very, because it's so wide now. Like when I was a kid, right? When I ever watched YouTube, my mother would always be like, "Oh, that's weird. Like, just watch TV." And now she's watching YouTube, and it's so wide and hits every audience because there's so much on it. She watches like, yeah, she watches like home renovation stuff.
Exactly. That's the thing that, it's only gotten bigger. My parents 5 years ago could have given, 2 fucks about YouTube. And now my dad watches it all the time.
Yeah.
He's always watching something when I come downstairs, given I don't know if I would be watching it. Sometimes it's normal. Sometimes it's not. And to my knowledge, I don't think my mom goes on YouTube at all. I have no idea. But my dad definitely does. He is what we would call a consumer of content for sure. Like it's like you said, it's kind of the appeal has only grown, and so people will adapt. They want the biggest audience possible, so they'll make the most vibrant and clickable and most insane shit to apply to, a 6-year-old's stunted brain development, and they're like, a shiny color. And then, to like a 30-year-old's like, huh, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I want to watch this. It's like opening a massive blanket, like a massive net, and trying to catch as much as you can.
And it's weird that, well, it's not weird that it works, because obviously it's been made to work.
There's so much psychology behind it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And like, but it really is weird because you see this type of content, right? The world that kind of runs off of money. You can't say that isn't true. Like, yeah, like, which is also the reason why there are a lot of copycats, or the reason why there are a lot of people making similar content, or at the very least, content that is clickable. And it's a way to make money by being creative.
Exactly. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is the mentality that some people have. Why gamble on something that might not work? It could not. But if it doesn't, then you fucked up, and you think to yourself, oh, I could have just kept doing what I've been doing. When money starts getting in the way of the creative process and what you actually want to be doing, it can kind of derail you in a way. Because do you give in to, oh, this has been proven to work, let's go all in on this shit? Or do you stay in your lane and do what you want to do? And as you evolve and want to change things, you do that. Some people don't do that. Some people will do this. They'll be doing their own thing, and then something will hit off, and they'll go all in on that shit until that train has not only been off the tracks, but it's been on fire and exploded and still on fire, and they're still trying to make it go.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could save this for another episode, but the whole idea of an internet career, that shit doesn't last forever. Think about people that are still around. First 2 examples that come to my mind are Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. But think about it. Yeah. They were, a decade ago, they were on the rise. And they're still around, given in different ways. You could argue, this one doesn't pull as many views, but they still do. People still care about them. There's a reason people still care about them. Is because they've always kept it real. I think more people need to strive for always just abiding by what they want to do. And I'm a big, I don't know if you can tell by the way I've been talking in this episode, but I am not a big fan of trends because I think a lot of them are dumb. That's just like that. I mean, I oversimplified how I feel about it, but that's just how I view it. I think the idea of how and why something trends these days is very gamey. And I've always tried to reject not just trends, but especially ones that I felt are just dumb and pointless and will be gone in a month. I'd like, to me, if I'm going to do something, I want it to have a lasting impact that it's not going to be stuck in the time that it was made. If I make a video a month from now, would it still be relevant a year later? Even a little bit, 2 years, 3 years, a decade, even if YouTube's even still around in a decade. Can you imagine if it's not? Ugh.
Scary.
That is scary. But I've always been a big believer in that. Like, yeah, again, here we go, rolling back to Mr. Beast, the low-hanging fruit of the entire episode. But it's like, how much of this stuff 10 years from now are people still going to enjoy? Like, yeah, it's going to be entertaining as shit, but it's like the substance to it. It's like, how different is a Mr. Beast video to like a reality TV show episode?
Because I see where you're coming from, right? I do think, 10 years from now, right, Mr. Beast's content or this style of hyper edited content might not even exist, right? It might change because, again, you were talking about trends, and trends will eventually die out. And for the past like few years, since like it's mainly taken off from my point of view, like the wide market in like 2020 when we were all
I was gonna say the exact same. I almost wanted to make us do a countdown and then we'd both end up saying 2020 at the same time, because that's what popped in my head too. I was like 2020 because everyone was stuck inside and everyone was just needed something to do, but everyone had nothing better to do but to consume content.
Yeah, and that's why trends are now so huge, like, because throughout the year of 2020 and into 2021, and I'm sure it's, some places it's carried over into 2022, but like mainly since then, a lot of people were inside, or a lot of people were restricted with what they could do. They had to find an outlet.
Outlet's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, like you can sit there and be like, Mr. Beast videos will eventually change. And because it will change. It will appeal to a different audience in a few years. But I do agree, in the future, because as of right now, this entire thing is to make money. At least that's why new people are jumping onto that style of hyper-edited content, is to make money. And I do feel like eventually it's going to change, because I still see so many creators, even on like TikTok, of people just being a personality, being themselves. I just hit a huge mic clip, but like they're going to be their own personality, and people will take off. And when these OG YouTubers, right? That's fucking makes me sound all this hell to say that, like, Smosh and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and fuck, I feel like I'm missing someone here. Ninja, I'm sure.
No,
like,
one of these things does not belong.
Like, these people, they got where they are, not because of their editing, but because of the personality that was present. But a lot of these new creators are mainly getting there because of the hyper editing and the fact that it is to the T, like a formula. Like, it eventually, I feel, it could last forever, right? But I eventually feel as if it'll slow down. Because these new creators that I am seeing are working their way up just as fast as other people, and they're just being themselves.
You can argue it's already starting. That downfall is starting a little bit, because I think maybe not until recently, but I do feel like there's a little bit of pushback on that kind of shit. There's a subsection of, the internet that doesn't like this shit. I mean, I'm borderline a part of that, because
Yeah.
I mean, this whole time you've been like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but like, I think it has its place, and there's reasoning behind it. I'm like, fucking kill him, get him out of here.
Yeah, and that's a completely normal thing to think as well, because it is, I hate to say it, sometimes I go on YouTube and I will see that stuff and I'll think to myself, I just want to watch something
wild,
calm.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, sorry, different take. Like, yeah, like, yes. What I was trying to say is, yes, like, every now and then I will hop on YouTube and I will have the same thought to myself. Like, it's not a great feeling that's the main thing that's present, is the hyper, like, edited wild stuff. And I would like to watch calm stuff, but then there are those times where it does have its place. Because then there's those times that I could be in the best mood of my life and be like, oh, dude, I just want to watch something, like, real quick as I'm waiting. And they're perfect filler content. Like,
an analogy just popped in my head when you said that. It's kind of like the temptation of like eating something sweet or like something you know you shouldn't be eating right now, but you do it anyway. That's what just popped in my mind. It's like, imagine it's like walking into like a store, right? And then like, you know, you walk left and you're going down to like the baked goods and like just like the bread and shit like that. And you see like the bread aisle, it's like, oh yeah, I'll get like a baguette or something and like, you know, some hamburger buns. And then like you look left and you see like the giant glowing array of like cupcakes and shit. You're like, oh, that's not what I came here for, but oh, it looks so good. It's like eye candy, man. I gotta have it. Like,
dude, that reminded me of this tiny. I'm gonna derail for a millisecond. You reminded me of the best treat I've treated myself to. There's like a game, like an arcade near me, and like I got a bunch of points, and I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to get a yo-yo. I don't want to get a fidget spinner. I looked at the very bottom, and I had just enough points to buy it. It's a giant gummy bear, and I ate that in a day, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh, I felt so, I like ate it and I felt sad afterwards. But that's like, it was the best and worst thing I treated myself to, because I enjoyed it while it was happening, but afterwards I was just like, damn, I don't feel good. But it was a good treat.
It's one hell of a connection to make. It's like, oh yeah, watching a MrBeast video is like eating like a giant gummy bear until you feel sick. And you wake up the next day like it's a hangover and be like, oh, why did I watch that? Oh my god.
So, yeah, okay, well, I didn't mean it like that, but like it works. So I'll pretend that I meant it like that. But yeah, it is it's so appealing, but I feel like it has its time and place. And at the moment, at least a lot of people that I've noticed are really enjoying that slower paced content. And I think it's slowly finding its way back in. I don't know, watching a slow video makes because, you know, I watch a MrBeast video or a hyper edited video and I don't feel connected to the personality. But watching a slower based content or video or slower paced anything, for me at least, makes me feel as if I'm a part of like a conversation, or I'm a part of it because it's giving me time to react and think.
Let's also mention we're doing this like probably like 90 to 95% into the episode, but like we are like, obviously that is not all YouTube is these days, is this hyper edited shit. We're more so talking about its takeover and how we did at the beginning. Like you can open a blank YouTube homepage, like either like signed out or like in incognito, and you will see what we're talking about. Like refresh it a couple times and scroll down and refresh it. Like you will see the shit that we're talking about. That's the stuff that like by default YouTube wants people to watch, and it's respectfully kind of garbage.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it feels like that. And because it kind of is like that. Like, the reason YouTube is pushing it, obviously, is because it's just performing well, but it keeps people on the site as well. Like, it really is like the best of both worlds. It's good for YouTube because people stay on the site, and it's good for the creators because they make money.
But at the same time, I will be MrBeast's strongest hater. I'm not. I cannot.
MrBeast, I love you. This guy does not. This guy hates.
Fuck you. Okay, let me backpedal a little bit. I have nothing against him personally. I'm playing this up a little bit. I keep saying this. He is like the low hanging fruit of an example of this kind of stuff. That like he was the trailblazer for the people that have directly like step for step followed his path. Again, I have nothing against you, Jim Bone. You have a lot of money and power and could probably like buy me. So I'm not.
Okay, we got real.
Am I wrong?
No,
he could buy both of us easily. I mean, he could hand us $10,000 and be like, "Beat my video, laugh at me." Thank you, Jimmy.
He'd pay me $1,000. Do it. I don't care. You can pay me nothing and I'll be in it.
Dude, we're gonna donate 10,000 trees outside of Liberty, Missouri, in your name. Thanks for being a fan.
Thanks, man.
The moral of this is, me personally, I'm sick of it. You maybe a little bit, but you don't mind it. I'm sure in a year you'll come around to it. The gummy bear will sit in.
Okay.
You will digest it, and you'll look back and you'll be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It'll turn into the most terrible constipation of my life. I'm sure it will. I feel as if you're right. We do need a YouTube renaissance, but I feel like it needs to be directed towards new content creators or content creators. Sorry, I swear I got like a list. I've had so much energy drinks. Yeah, continue creating new and exciting content. You can use the same formula MrBeast does. We're not saying it's a bad thing. We're just saying if you're gonna do it,
shake it up a little, you know?
Yeah. Be what you want to see in the world, right?
Yeah, we don't need another MrBeast, respectfully, because we have him and his army of, I mean, again, it's not his fault. It's people that chose to do this, but clones. Like, I won't sugarcoat it. Like, some people are kind of shamelessly doing that. I won't name names, but I can think of one in my head that I do remember the name of, and it's not for a good reason. But
ooh. All right, don't drop the name.
Yeah, just be yourself, because everyone else is already taken, and we don't need duplicates and perfect copies of other people. We don't need another MrBeast or fucking XQC or I don't know. What's a popular vlogger? Casey Neistat, is he still around? I think he is. I think
he's still pretty.
He's doing well.
I think he's pretty big still, right?
I hope so. I mean, good for him, maybe. Or if not, maybe he's been long gone. I don't know. Oh, you're gonna fact check me in real time.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know how to spell Casey Neistat. Yes, he's so. Oh my god,
you're
he's still
struggling with Casey.
Yeah, look, I'm really bad with basic English. I get too excited and then my brain goes to mush. Yeah, he makes. Oh my god, he posts so often. Oh my god, I need to catch up with him. I'm like 2 years behind on his content. I swear. Yes. Sorry.
Anyway.
So I needed to fact check you. I don't want to put out false information.
You just owned me, fucking.
Yeah. What are we doing that for, Will?
Just dunked on me. Be yourself, because we don't need more of other people. We need the next you. We need that real, authentic, like, next generation of people, of creators, that are gonna just do whatever the fuck they want, the way they want to do it, and just ball out. Because that, I think, is what a renaissance should be. It's a sharp pivot into a new and hopefully better direction of not copy pasted garbage.
Yeah, and I agree. It kind of, yeah, it's a sharp turn in the direction, like in a new direction, and it starts with, I'm gonna say it, the audience and other people that are wanting to do this. They have to be the change that they need to see.
You can't be afraid to be the first to do something, because guess what? If you're the first to do something and you do it well and you succeed, people are going to be calling you the trailblazer. How about that?
Yeah. You're going to blaze so many trails.
You want to be the trailblazer so bad. You want to shake things up and make the internet a better place so bad.
Yeah, blaze it. Ooh. Is that what kids say? I don't know any.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah, I agree, man. Is there any other points you want to get across before ending? Because we're pretty far into it.
We are pretty far in. I guess we never really introduced what this will be. This is a horrible time to do at the end of the first episode.
But it's a good way to summarize, and we can use what we've talked about as an example, right?
Oh, talk about reusing content. I like the way you think. Yeah, so this is the working hour, a project thing. I'm trying so hard to not call it a podcast. I don't like calling it a podcast, but
it's a show.
That's what it is. It's a show. That's the word we try and use instead. It's a show. And we want to just get on and talk about all kinds of shit that's going on in the creator world, in the internet as a whole. And we really wanted this to be the first episode because it's something that I've thought about a lot this year. And yeah, basically I approached this motherfucker in June and was like, hey, I'm doing this and I want you to come along with. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to embarrass you in front of everyone. This guy was just like, oh, I made up all these like reasons why you should be in it, and I just agreed straight away. He didn't even have to.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Reasons. You act like I just slipped money under the table and like do it or else.
No, you're like trying to. Like, you said like you were gonna try to convince me. You're like, oh, I was gonna have like.
I called it a proposal.
Oh, a proposal. Oh my God. All right, propose to me. Jeez. Don't do that. I got a girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm aware.
Thank you.
You're the one who said it, not me.
So I wanted to make sure, I want to make sure the audience knows. They don't propose to me. Don't propose to me, anyone. Unless you're my girlfriend.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay away from me.
Everyone, stay away. I don't. Get away from me.
He's contagious. Stop. Yeah, so the working hour is just going to be this thing. We're shooting for a new episode every other week, so 2 a month. Just kind of talking about all kinds of stuff. Full episodes that are going to be focused on one specific topic, like this one, a renaissance, which I love. I just love the image that conjures up of saying a YouTube renaissance and trying to imagine what that would look like. So we really wanted that to be the first one, and I don't know. I think we did a pretty solid job.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I'm gonna be honest. Genuinely going into this, I was nervous. I was excited because you've talked to me about it before outside of it. When bringing up the idea, and I'm glad you got to bring the points across. I'm glad I got to shine some like. I want to have like a middle ground type feeling to it. Yeah, like we talk about the positives and negatives, and I think we did that really well. Obviously, some people may disagree, so please leave a comment. But like,
great job being a neutral middleman.
Like,
pick a side.
But no, like, because it's
kidding.
because like, shut the fuck up. But like, no, there's a lot of people I watch, and a lot of them are like yes men, or a lot of people are like they just agree with each other, or even if it's not correct. Like, I'm glad we both had our own opinion, but it was constructive. I think that's the main thing that I was happy about. I'm just glad I'm here, and I'm glad we got to do it, and I'm glad that we picked this topic as a starting point because it's something that you and I are both opinionated on.
Very.
Yeah, we've very strong opinions, and it's good we got to share them. So that's Anyway, sorry, I'll stop being a little bitch.
Well, from both of us here on the show, we thank you for tuning into the working hour. You can find us on a lot of fucking places, wherever you're watching now. YouTube, Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter. That is like the main place you should go. YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible, and Google Podcasts. Can you believe that? How many of those did you know existed before?
Yeah, exactly.
Google Podcasts? Yeah. Who the fuck uses that?
Who thought you could put a podcast in Audible? Not me.
And you know what's funny? It did it automatically. I didn't even sign up. It just fucking did it. It's us. Like, hey, Amazon Music and Audible, they go together. You're on Audible now, kid. I was like, okay, thanks. Oh, this has been the working hour. Please stay smart, stay focused, and stay creative. Don't give in to the numbers and the money. Please. We beg you. Don't lose yourself.
Don't lose yourself at all right? We're watching. I'm not watching. He's watching. I'm not watching. I'm going to be playing CSGO while he watches.
What do we say from here?
Oh, we need one more. Do you want me to say something? I'm really bad at ending stuff. Don't hand me the mic. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
No way. We're not. Just bro, hit us with the. That's about it. See ya. All right.
Okay. All right. I'm passing you the mic, please.
Take care, everyone.